Hey there and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to give you a 2-year update on my SproutBox garden. I did a review maybe a year ago now, and I had been gardening with my SproutBox for just a year, and so now I've just completed my second season growing in it. So I thought I would give you guys an update on how the garden is going and if it's something that you want to be investing in. What's up? My name is Bree from Urban Gardening Canada and I garden in Ottawa Zone 5. Let's go through all of the things that I still love about my SproutBox and maybe some things that I'm unsure about. And so if you didn't catch my first review, I'll link it up here where I go through like how to build it and the price and everything, but this is just going to be a quick update. So one of the things that's really good about the garden is that it's held its color. So I weed whack the bottom of it, and the weed whack string isn't taking any of the paint color off of it. So I'm super happy that it still looks just as good as it did on the first day that I built it. The second thing is that in my first review and my blog post, I mentioned the 32-inch height is really tall and kind of hard to work with. And I've determined that I actually really like the height of the garden. I think it's just the configuration that I did wrong. I built it 5x5 because I wanted to maximize the square footage in it. And I regret the 5x5 shape, but I absolutely love the height of it. My peppers here are growing huge. They're taller than I am. So with the 32-inch height and the peppers growing in them, they're probably about 6 feet tall, and they're super huge, they're super vigorous. And I think a big part of that is just how deep the garden box is. So they have access to really good soil, and then I had put in old branches in the bottom of it, and so these roots have a ton of space to grow really wide and really deep. And I think that's contributing to them growing really well, because last year and this year I had a super good garden that had really healthy and happy plants. And I do have a tree that's behind this garden that does shade them out around like noon, 1 or 2 o'clock, which is like prime time. So even though they are getting shade from the tree, they're still growing like super duper well. And so I personally feel like that 32-inch height is really what's contributing to them doing so well. So I'm actually pretty happy with how big this garden is. So the things that I mentioned before in my first review is that it's kind of caving in on the sides of the garden, and I can't tell for sure, but it does look like it's actually getting worse now. So that's where the tension rod is that's supposed to be holding the garden from bowing outward. It's actually pulling it in, and so I haven't emailed the company yet to find out about that, but maybe I'll send them some pictures and see if I can get more information. But it does look like it's pulling in worse than before, and so I don't know what the long-term consequences of that is, so I really should email them and find that out. And then the other thing I mentioned before was I got the pampas color. It's like a beigey white, and it gets really dirty. So when the rain is hitting the ground and any soil bounces up, it gets dirty all over the outside of it. So I actually don't recommend this color for the fact that unless you want to wash off the sides of your garden, which isn't on my list of things to do, I just don't really like the color from that perspective. But overall, I'm super happy with this garden, and I think the reason that I'm the most happy about the garden is just the fact that my plants are doing so good in it, because that's literally the most important part about any type of garden, is that your plants are thriving in it. And so 2 years later, I'm still really happy with it. There are a few scuffs that are on the side of it as well, and again, it could be attributed to the fact that I got a white color in the garden, and I actually have no idea how I got those scuffs. They're pretty high up, so it can't be from the weed whacker, so I must have bumped it with something. But for a few minor scuffs, there's no paint being chipped off from the weed whacker. It's still looking pretty well, exactly the same as it did on day 1, and again, my plants are so happy. So 2 years later, I would say it's still a really great garden, and I'm happy with it. And I hope that you found this 2-year update helpful. And if you have any questions about it, or you want to learn more about the build, of course, check out my first review. But you can also write in the comment section any questions that you have about it, and I'll be happy to help. I am a brand ambassador for SproutBox. However, this review is not at all a part of the fact that I'm a brand ambassador. I'm very critical of any product regardless, and I want to make sure that I'm being moral and ethical and honest with you, and so I don't want you to think that this review at all is biased because of that. I really take honesty over anything else. So that being said, if you do decide after watching this video, my first review, or reading my blog post where I'm very honest in all of them, and you do want to purchase one, you can save 10% using my code Urban Gardening, and I'm going to put that in the link below here if you did want to look at the prices. Before you go, I wanted to let you know about a new course I've created called Adapt and Thrive Gardening in a Changing Climate. If you noticed over the past season that the weather has become more unpredictable and you've experienced tons of rain, long dry droughts, wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, or any other intense weather that's been putting a strain on your garden, this course is for you. This course is set up to teach you how to build a strong garden right from spring when you plant your seeds all the way through to your fall harvest, and even how to keep your garden healthy over the winter, setting you up for a successful spring. If you want to avoid getting weather alerts and having to run outside to protect your garden, and you want to spend more time harvesting your hard work, this course is for you. I've put a link in the description box below so you can check out the course there, and even find a free preview so you can check out the course and have an idea of exactly what this course is going to offer you. All right, thanks so much for your time, and let's get back to the video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.